Yeah, so if I can clarify that, so yeah, you can live vegan in a way that is healthy, but it has to be a certain kind of vegan diet in my eyes, because vegan diets can have such a broad spectrum of eating. You know, you could eat grains and legumes every day with plant oils and say I'm vegan and that's healthy. No, that would not be the healthy diet thing. Or eat finished products like the Beyond Burger stuff and so on. That's not the healthy vegan diet way. And if you do it in the right way and you eat the good food and leave that, like the nutrient dense food that is good for you and for the microbes in your gut, and you leave out the stuff that is bad for you with no nutrients, that is inflammatory to your body, that is actually taking away nutrients from your body and inflaming your gut and your body. When you do it the perfect way, even then you would have to supplement in order to not have a puzzle piece missing of nutrients. So, I mean, and I know a couple of vegans. I'm very good friends with a couple of vegans. One of my best friends is vegan. And we get along well, but obviously we have different approaches to health, and the way they do it is in a very good way, I think, because they really inform themselves of how they can do it in a way that it's not dangerous to themselves and how it can be okay for the environment as well. I think you dropped
the little cheat sheet just fell down.
Yeah. So another thing, as we are talking about this topic right now, maybe I can drop this bomb. A lot of vegans think that their diet is actually better for the environment and better for animals. And yes, if you're doing this diet where you eat a lot of fruit and fresh produce and not a lot of conventional foods, sorry, not conventional, but like processed foods. Yeah, if you don't eat a lot of processed foods, grains, plant oils, and sugary foods and legumes, you can have a pretty good vegan diet that is not destroying the planet and not killing a lot of animals. But actually, when you eat a lot of grains and legumes, where you have those monocultures, right, where they're spraying those with pesticides and herbicides and big fields of only growing one crop, then actually a lot of animals die. A lot of animals die. Much more animals die per gram of protein than if you have a grass-fed steak from one animal, where you can make, like you can eat 300 meals from one animal death, and get a lot of protein and good fat and fat-soluble vitamins and all that stuff. Then if you eat only grains and legumes and you kill so many people, animals like birds, reptiles, insects, mice, like there are so many animals that die, and it's crazy. Like even I saw a report of farmers in Australia. They have pea farms, and they, out of this pea protein, like a pea, they make pea protein later. And the deer that want to eat the protein, they're their enemies, right? Because they're eating their produce. So they put up big fences, and the deer still came and open up those fences. And at some point, those guys that were growing these vegan things, they hired people, hunters, to shoot the deer. And at some point they were killing so many deer that you would also, I think, have to account for that when you say that you're eating a diet that does not shed any blood. But it's a very controversial topic, it's a difficult topic, it's an emotional topic. And well, I feel like when I eat a grass-fed steak, I'm contributing to the planet in a positive way, because the animal actually creates an environment where more animals can live, because by trampling the ground, peeing, taking a dump, and moving its feet in the ground, it actually builds up humus, and this humus actually can inhabit so many new animals and fertilizes the ground and will actually take CO2 out of the atmosphere into the ground. And it's so cool and funny, actually, that this healthy way of living goes hand in hand with being good for the planet. I think it's very fascinating and really cool, but nobody talks about this, because this industry, let's say, with happy animals on farms, does not have a lobby, and does not have any budgets for big marketing campaigns or making studies, right? So I'm a huge enemy of feedlots and torturing animals and feeding them grains and having them in factories. Factory farming is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Like, please don't mix it up what I'm saying here with that. Yeah, I'm not for that. So I'm actually nearer to the vegans and their approach of what they want with their diet than they think. So yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I think especially nutrition, the topic is so complicated, and to understand all the facts and the ramifications of a certain impact, it's hard to understand, and very few people actually dig down, but Paul does, and that's why I would listen to Paul's advice. So I'm an omnivore. I eat everything basically, but basically what nourishes my body and makes me hopefully healthier. So on the Nomad Cruise 2018, Paul was my paleo coach for like 4 weeks. I tried out paleo, and it was quite interesting, actually, gotta say. Sometimes if you are very strict, it can be very limiting, like no sugar at all anymore, no processed stuff. But I think life is never like black and white, right? You always have like somewhere like concessions to make, and you shouldn't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah, definitely. For a lot of people, the 80-20 rule works very well.
Pareto.
Yeah, and like, but obviously also there are people, like, okay, so I've been in this movement for 8-9 years now. I've talked to the biggest best-selling authors of books, or the guys that built the biggest companies around this topic, or are the biggest health experts, let's say. None of those guys does it in a super strict 100% way.
Yeah.
These principles of paleo, for example, they all do it in a 10%, 20% way where it's not perfect, but it always depends. Like they have tried a lot of stuff and know what works for them, right? People who should actually do it 100% or do it, they are the people who are just trying to use it in a therapeutic way for like a month or 3 months. They are really strict because they have one goal: eliminating chronic disease, getting in shape, losing weight, high performance for that time frame. So these are the people actually that should do it 100%, and then it's okay as well, right? But none of the people I know does it 100%. Like I do not eat grains. This is really the thing that I do not do. Like sometimes I take a sip of a beer. Okay, it's also made with grains, or I eat like corn and rice, but I usually do not eat this, and I do not eat processed foods. Really, I don't really buy them, but sometimes when somebody offers me that stuff, I eat that. Yeah, okay.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think also this one guy is very interesting. Actually, there's so much wind here. Paracelsus, he said that your food shall be your nutrition, your nutrition shall be your, your food shall be your medicine, and your medicine shall be your food.
Yeah.
Right, and that's so important to understand, because people, they get sick and they don't know what's going on, like you, but in your story, and they try to cure it with all kind of pills and all kind of stuff, whatever therapies. But in the end, I think we have such a big impact if we just change our diet.
Yes.
And I really feel it myself, like when I eat only like processed stuff for one day. Yeah. Or if I eat actually like whole foods, like a full avocado, a full whatever, a pineapple or a steak, and that's definitely better for my intestines, for my digestive system, than the whole processed stuff that I can totally feel, even if I'm not an expert. Totally.
Like I hosted 3 big summits. I hosted a German
paleo convention, right?
That also. So actually, what I'm doing for work also is hosting summits,
conferences
about chronic disease and how to help people help themselves, basically get over the chronic disease. And like 80%, let's say 70-80% of the content in those summits is always pretty similar, because it's always those big principles of eating the right way, getting enough sleep, stress reduction, social context, and also movement and a little fitness, right? And other things like detox, having chronic infections maybe, where you once got bitten by a tick and you have borreliosis, for example, and you haven't gotten really rid of it now. Or if you had a tooth removed from your jaw and your jaw has a silent inflammation that you do not know about, and it actually produces toxins that stress your liver all the time. Like, these are some ground principles of getting rid of chronic disease. And then the rest of these summits is always specifically for the disease that people have. But you know, if I hosted an event that says the cure for all disease, nobody would click it, because it would not make sense. Like, the people always, from a marketing point of view, they always need a summit that's like where they think, that's exactly for the disease that I have, or what the doctor told me that I have. Okay, then I'm going to click on it, right? So I've hosted all those summits, and actually you can do so much to get these chronic diseases into control, and a lot of it is always going back to your microbiome and the bacteria that your body inhabits. So actually we are holobionts, we are humans, but we are so
diverse.
Yeah, we have such a huge diversity of so many microbes on us and in us. I always read the German literature, so it's difficult to explain right now, but we actually have more bacterial or microbial cells in us and on us than human cells, right?
Crazy.
And if you look at it in regards to DNA, there's probably even 10 times to 100 times more bacterial DNA in us than human DNA. Because even in our human cells we have bacterial DNA. These are our mitochondria. These are the powerhouses of our cells to produce energy. And everything goes back to your gut health and good gut diversity. And when you look at all chronic diseases, I've seen so many studies and can easily show them, or we can link them under here, where all chronic disease is linked to the gut. And even stuff that's really different, like diabetes, being obese, neurological diseases like